The size of your success is measured by the strength of your desire, the size of your dream, and how you handle disappointments along the way. Good evening, everyone. I hope you all know the purpose for which we have gathered here. My name is Krishna Trivedi. I'm one of the placement cell members, and I'll be your host for today's session of the Placement Cell Week. Before starting, I would like to tell you that we are also live on YouTube. In case there is any technical issue, please leave the meeting and join there. I take this opportunity to invite Dr. Kritika Malhotra ma'am, Professor, Department of Commerce, and Head of Training and Placement Team of the Cell for the welcome speech.
Thank you, Krishna. A very good evening to everyone present here. Let me first begin by welcoming and thanking our principal, Dr. D.K. Singh, sir. He is not here with us in the meeting today, but he has bestowed all his blessings on us to organize this pre-placement training program. And today we are in the day 3 of the pre-placement training program. I would also like to welcome Dr. Shani Lamba, ma'am, placement coordinator, and would like to thank her for her enduring efforts, which she has been pursuing along to organize this pre-placement training session for dear students. I would like to welcome all the teachers of the placement cell of various departments that they are holding in the placement cell. I would like to welcome all my very dear students of the placement cell who have been working very, very, very hard in organizing this pre-placement training program and doing their roles very effectively. I would like to welcome all my dear students today who have gathered here for this online session in the day 3 of the pre-placement training. And we hope that you are going to extract some very valuable inputs here from today's lecture. I'm very happy and very pleased to welcome Mrs. Kritika Pandey,
Thank you.
my namesake today, who is a corporate speaker at Data Engineer at eBay Classified Group. And today, ma'am is going to enlighten you, dear students, on the aspects of organizational behavior, which is an interface between an organization and human. And today, in the present scenario where we are operating in a globalized environment, I think organizational behavior becomes a very important aspect to attain success in an organization. Right, ma'am? I think you will definitely agree with what I'm saying. And it becomes very important to understand the innovativeness and changes that are there from one country to another and how the students can adapt to these changes. And since ma'am has joined us right away from Scotland, so I'm very sure that ma'am will be the best person to enlighten you, dear students, on various aspects that govern the behavior and how you can best perform and behave when you're working in an organization. So over to Krishna, and we hope for a wonderful session today. I welcome each and every one for giving us time. Thank you so much, Kritika ma'am, for giving us this wonderful time today and having this lecture with us. Thank you very much. And welcome, ma'am.
So much.
Everything you need to succeed is already inside you. You just have to access your inner power and make it happen. These are a few motivating lines that we very often hear from our placement cell coordinator and head of computer science department. I hereby invite Dr. Shalini Lamba ma'am for a few motivating words.
Thank you, Krishna. Thank you, Kritika. Very good evening to respected teachers, all the senior faculty members who have joined. Our eminent speaker of the day, Mrs. Kritika Pandey, and my very, very dear students. I'm actually overwhelmed to hear such words from the students, and that actually gives me, all the more power to do more for all of you. So it's actually, we will not say that it is a give and take scenario here, but yes, in a way, it is true. So we are trying to give you the best. We are trying to give you the platform where you can take in the best and upgrade yourself to that level. Where maybe today you are seeing Kritika. I'm There's a lot of confusion now. My focus is on Kritika Pandey, ma'am, from Scotland, our eminent speaker of the day. So, if you have someone from that platform speaking to you, you are actually very much motivated. And a couple of days back, when we had a tech fest organized by the computer science department, and of all the days, I think the day we had called the alumni, that was the most successful day. And as it is always, said that when you hear from the mouth of the people who are actually going through the same, like Kritika has moved as a student to the corporate sector, and when she speaks out her experience to you today, that is definitely going to motivate you. And the 2 days which we had Dr. Smita Sahu speaking on the communication skills, and we also had Divedi ma'am talking about, how to prepare for your GTPI. And both the two sessions were actually very informative, and I'm sure it must have had a very good impact on all of you. And these 2 days and in the coming days as well, you would definitely try to find out, what are your shortcomings. You would try to upgrade yourself to that level, so that at the end of the day, we have to face this part of the world, which is, the fact of life. So, if not today, maybe after a couple of years, but yes, you would be facing this side of the world. Everyone has to earn bread and butter for their family. So, if you enjoy that, and definitely, as one of the speakers in the 2 days had said, that do what you enjoy doing. So I think, yes, it was Deepti ma'am who had told that if you enjoy your work, definitely success will be at your steps. So students, with all the hope that the effort that has been put up by the placement team, moreover, I would be very, very thankful to the such hard working and dedicated placement team which we have. All the students have done incredibly for all of you. So I am like, so overwhelmed for all of them. It was beyond my expectation that, that the students are going to do so well. And definitely, Krishna is here as a co-host, so he can speak for the day, that what he has learned in this journey as a member of the placement cell. I mean, this would definitely not have been there if he would have just moved in and out of National PG College as a, just as a student. So this platform has actually must have definitely given him an opportunity to, upgrade himself, uh, and work on, and must have brought in a lot of confidence in him. So the very fact that he is in front of you all and he's speaking in front of you all, proves that. And I'm very, very thankful to my very hardworking, and the placement team, the team of teachers who have always been a very big motivational factor behind these students also, and have been just a call away from them always, and have given such new face to the placement cell. I'm thankful to each one of you over here. And Kritika, today we will get to know about your journey as a student to the corporate sector where you are. And I'm sure your motivational words are going to do wonders to the students who have joined in today's session. So without taking much of your time, I hand over to you, Kritika. Please, you can take it over. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. So I hope you were talking to me. So I'll get started. So
Yes,
yep.
Kritika,
Hi.
hi, Kritika. Now my focus is on you only, because that's what there's a lot of confusion between the two Kritikas. Now our focus is you.
Yeah, no, I
Over to
get
you.
it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So hello everyone. So thank you so much for having me here, and I'm really pleased to come here and talk to you guys about my experience, how it had been since I left college, joined a company back in India, and I came to Glasgow, and how my experience have been. Because I have been working with people across the globe, and there are a lot of differences. I mean, you know that one person is totally different from another, and how I have faced the cultural differences and everything. So hopefully, whatever I discuss here and my journey for almost 9 years, yeah, so been in corporate world for 9 years, and I'm hoping that it will help you in certain ways. So we're going to talk about organizational behavior today. So I'm not going to be boring you with, some bookish definitions, or maybe just something, excuse me. So something I read on Google, but yeah, I'm going to walk through my experience and what things have helped me before I got a job, after I got a job, and after I have worked across 2 or 3 companies. So I have had to give a couple of more interviews to join new companies. So how organizational behavior has helped me to grow as a person, to grow as a engineer, and also contribute towards growth of my the companies I have been working for. So I did BTech. I completed my BTech back in 2012 from computer science, and I got campus placement. So the first challenge for me was that I had been living in the north part of India. For example, I lived in Gorakhpur and then Delhi for 4 years and Greater Noida. And the first job I got was in Pune. So again, it was everything was different, because when I arrived in Pune, people were talking in different languages. And till college, you have people who are kind of guiding you to do what to do. So you have parents at your home, you've got your teachers who guide you through school, through your college, that what is wrong, what is right. But when you reach at a certain place in your life, when you're going to join a new job, everybody is new, you don't know anyone. So that's where the challenge, because there is nobody to tell you that how you should be behaving with others, and what is the expectation from your end. So that's kind of terrifying, but at the same time it gives you a lot of experience. So I don't want to terrify you that when you're going to join a new job, it's going to be difficult. You will have a lot of support, but there are things which we need to work on ourselves as individual, and that's where the organizational behavior comes into the picture. So before I go into the organizational behavior, so just let me try to explain what exactly organizational behavior is. What does it mean? So yeah, so like I said, from childhood we are told about, like, right, your parents tell you about what is wrong, what is right, how should you behave with your relatives, how should you behave with your sorry, not colleagues, friends, how should you behave with your teachers. So that's what we are given, those kind of information, we are given those guidance from the very start of our childhood. So organizational behavior is a similar thing, but it's just how are you supposed to behave in an organization settings. So when you join an organization, you'll have your colleagues, you'll have your seniors, juniors. So it's mostly how you are going to interact with everyone, how you can contribute towards the organizational growth, and how it's going to help you to grow as an individual. So that's what all the organization, that's what everything about organizational behavior is. It just helps you to survive, to get through your job from 9 to 5, and and it also motivates you. So let's just say that if you are like Shalini ma'am said, that you should be loving what you're doing. So if you're not loving what your job, and you are just kind of frustrated, so obviously you cannot grow as individual, and you cannot contribute towards anybody's growth. So now coming to the organizational behavior. So every organization, be it a small organization, be it a multinational companies, they have organizational values, they have got these leadership principles, they have got HR representatives who shape a policies who brings an order to everything. So if there is no order, you know that there would be chaos everywhere. So in anywhere, in any organization, in order to perform, in order to make sure that employees are motivated, in order to make sure that they are growing, every organization has set of principles which every employee need to follow. So these principles, these values, they are mostly they are mostly you whenever you join any organization, you will be told about these values, these principles, and how these values and these principles are followed across any organization. So as soon as I joined Sintel back in 2012, in December 2012, so I was given a training, a behavioral training for almost 2 weeks, which actually held me on how to behave with my colleagues, how to make sure that I am I'm respecting everyone, how to make sure that if there are conflicts, I am kind of I can handle the conflicts on my own instead of just going to my boss every now and then. So that's what I mean. Whenever you will join any organization, you would be given training on how to behave in an organizational setting. So I started working for a service-based company. So when I say a service-based company, it just literally means that the company who provides their services to others. So I was working for Sintel, but we had clients across the globe. So the first client I started working for was a US based client. So now, like I said, that there are cultural differences. In fact, in India also, India is said, I mean, diversity. So the same thing is in organization as well. So when you are working, let's say with someone from US, you are expected to behave in a certain way. For example, every time, whenever there is a meeting starting, so let's say I'm going on a meeting and I've got few people from the US. So the first thing would be greetings, and maybe how are you, and just have a few conversations just to make sure that you get acquainted instead of just getting straight to the point. So those things I learned on the job, because these things they don't tell you necessarily on training. They'll tell you that you should respect your client, and how to talk to your client, just to make sure you don't say no right away to the client. So these things are taught in your training. But things like how to make contacts, because we everybody is doing their job, but it's great to have some contacts, because you'll face issues. I mean, I don't know anyone who doesn't need help, from their colleagues, their boss, or anyone. So you need to build those contacts, and you need to make sure that so let's say you are asking for someone's help. So you need to make sure that you value their help. It shouldn't be like that you asked for help and you just don't say thank you. And thank you and sorry, so these are the two most used word in corporate life. So anybody is holding you the door for you, you say thank you, because that's kind of that's kind of culture an organization should have. So right now, all the corporate, I mean, I have been part of, I think, 3 or 4 organization. So everywhere the culture is almost same. So it's not like that you have got a boss and he's telling you that Kritika, do this or do that. So there is nothing in the corporate world like that. So there is a common organization goal. For example, I am in software, so I'm going to give example of software. So for example, and as an organization, I have got a goal that we need to build this app, or we need to build this a service for our customers so that they can be digitalized. So everybody is working towards the same goal. Now everybody will have different responsibilities. Your boss, or my boss, he would be responsible for people management. I would be responsible for, let's say, doing the architecture, how we are going to proceed with the technical deliveries. So everybody has a different role, but they work in a very cordial manner. So it shouldn't be like that you are respecting your seniors but you're not respecting your juniors. So that respect should be for everyone. So we've got a saying in here: treat a janitor in the same way you will treat a CEO. So that's the kind of philosophy every corporate has as of now. So everybody have different skills, everybody have different capabilities, so you have to respect that capability, you have to respect their skills. It's not that, you know, if someone is at a very high position, or if someone is from the leadership, you are giving him or her more respect, and you are just treating your junior in a bad way. You are not supposed to do that, and you can't do that. And now to enforce, so these are the kind of organizational behavior. Maybe I'll go into more what are the important organizational behavior I have seen across my career. But before I go to that, I'll just maybe quickly cover how do we make sure that those values are enforced. Because I worked in companies who have employees like 100K, and you know, like you must have heard of Tata Consultancy Services. They have over 500K employees. So how do you make sure that with so many employees, you make sure that you enforce those values? So there are two steps to that in the way that these values are enforced. So the first one is interview. So I'm pretty sure whenever you guys think of, you know, going for an interview, you are very much focused on your curriculum, you are very much focused on your so for me, again, I'm going to give my example. So I'm very much, let's say I'm very much focused on my technical aspects, to make sure that if I am given a technical question, I should be able to answer, or anything related to what I already know. But that's just 50%. So believe me when I'm saying that behavioral interview is as important as technical interview. But in some scenarios, it's more important than the technical interviews. So I don't know what the structure of the fresher interview is right now, but when I was giving interviews like nine years ago, we used to have a behavioral interview with HR, where they kind of judge you on your attitude. So we might not know everything about we might not know everything. So like for me, there are so many technologies in the market right now, I don't know everything about any technology. But what company tries to see in you is your attitude. Do you have that learning attitude? So if you don't know anything right now, are you willing to learn? Will you be able to fit culturally in that company? So that's very important part of your interview. So in fact, you know, companies like Amazon, they have 4 behavioral rounds. So I mean, there would be different peoples, they would be asking you hypothetical questions like that. Let's say you have some disagreement with your colleague, how are you going to handle it? So they will give you a hypothetical question, and they will expect you to answer in such a way that fits the company. So before you are going for an interview, you need to be prepared on questions like this, and you need to know what an organization's culture is. So now coming back to like how we enforce the organizational behavior. So the first enforcement is at interview level. So whenever companies do some drives to hire more people, or lateral entries or anything, so one round would be surely behavioral interview, where they judge people that if this guy or this girl is culturally fit for our company. So that was their the first step. So if they understand that he or she might not be fit for our culture, so those people gets rejected. And once they have joined the organization, so then there are policies. So then there are policies, just like in your college you might have rules. So let's say that you need to come at 9 o'clock, you need to leave at 5 o'clock. So similarly, these policies are enforced in form of different kind of rules. Now everybody needs to follow this rule. It's not these organizational policies, so they are common for everyone. So if there is a guy who is at director level, and if there is a fresher, and these policies would be same for both of them. And if there is any discrepancy, any discrepancy, or let's say anybody is not following the rules, so for example, the most important word, let's say one of the organizational behavioral rule is that you need to protect your customer data. You shouldn't be giving your customer data to anyone else. So if anyone is doing that, if anyone is sharing data beyond the organization, anyone can go and maybe talk to HR that, and make sure that that everybody is following the organizational policies, or the rules, or the orders which have been set by the organization. Now these policies kind of, people, the HR team. I mean, there are, when I say that these HR team, there are dedicated team who make sure that these policies are created, which also, help employee growth. They shouldn't be like that, which can kind of diminishes employee, which can demotivate employees. So whenever these policies are designed, the employees behavior, what employee wants, these things are kept in mind a lot. So it feels like I've been like speaking for a long. So is there any question at the moment which I can address before I go to like the most important organizational behavior I have seen in my life as of now? Okay, I'll take the silence as no.
Ma'am,
No,
we have
no.
one question.
Krishna, yeah, Krishna, please tell the questions which have come in the chat box.
Yes, ma'am, we
Yeah.
have one question from Akshat Vidyarthi of BCA 4th semester. Who deals with organizational behavior? Like who analyzes the organizational behavior?
Yeah, okay. So like I mentioned, we've got every organization has a dedicated HR team. So normally what happens is that, let's say, as of now, I have got four organizational policies. Could be honesty, it could be, respecting your colleagues. So every year or so, and not even a year, every 6 months or so, there are surveys which all the organizations, so they will send a survey to all the employees. So, to make sure that the organization, that whatever policies, whatever values have been enforced on the employees, are they happy with it? And if, let's say that there is some rule which are, so these surveys are anonymous. So it's not like that, if you are writing something bad about your organization, you are going to get fired or sacked. It's nothing like that. It's very transparent. So if there is a value, or if there is an organizational policy, you are not happy with it, you just go and write it into the survey. So every month, this HR team, they kind of review their organization policy, and if they feel like that, that this is something which we are not able to enforce, this is something which we are not the employees are not happy with. So let's say just one rule, that the employees are supposed to come at 9 o'clock, they need to leave at 5 o'clock. So if that policy is in picture and employees are not happy with it, they want more flexibility, they want to work from home sometime. So every 6 months, and there is a dedicated team to it, there is a leadership team involved. And I mean, if there is any organizational policy changes, so this goes to the CEO level. So that team, they analyzes the employees behavior, they analyzes that, what is causing problems for the employee, if they are feeling demotivated, or if they are feeling that they are not able to grow in the company. So that team kind of, reshapes the organization values, or the organization policies according to employees' need. I hope that answered your question, but if there is any follow-up, just go ahead.
Yes, ma'am, Akshat is satisfied with your answer. The second question is from Nikita. How to prepare for behavioral interviews?
Okay. So actually, I was gonna come to that, but yeah, let's say. So yeah. So like I said, every organization has a different policy and different values. So I'll just give example what I normally do whenever I am going for an interview. So it's very simple. Just put yourself in that situation and try to see what you will do. Don't go like, so for example, I have seen many times, like when companies ask, why should I hire you, people just start saying that, I'm very hardworking and I am very quick learner. But these answers, believe me, they are very vague, because you can't define quick learner and you can't define hardworking, because these things are relative, right? So you must be thinking that I'm hardworking, but for someone else you might not be that hardworking. So please avoid these words whenever you are answering questions. Avoid giving vague answers. Instead, do one thing. Whenever, so that, okay, you are going to appear for this company's interview, so go to that company's site. You will see their values. You will see their organizational policies on the company website. Every company has the values and website, and it is public to everybody. So it's not like that, it is only for their employees. they publish these values on their website. So whenever you are forming answer to that questions, take a minute, try to think how to form your answer in a way that will help the company. So instead of saying that I'm just a quick learner, I'm very hardworking, maybe try to relate yourself that you know what, I have seen that your company values hardworking people, and I think as whatever has been described in your company's values, as per that I think I am hardworking. And try to give some example to that, there was a subject which was very hard for me. I was not able to get any tuition, but I kind of studied again and again, and I was able to get 60% or 70%. So try to give an example out of your own life. So believe me, what we feel is, and in fact what I used to feel was, that the interviewer sitting in front of you is there to judge you. So it's not like that. The interviewer is investing time in yourself, so he or she also wants you to succeed. So they will help you, but you have to kind of help yourself so that they can help you. So whenever you are going for an interview, make sure, I mean, I like I said that 50%, I mean, most of us, they try to focus on the technical aspects of the interview, but the behavioral aspects is very, very important, because companies know that they can train you on technology, they can train you on how to do things, but the attitude you have, the kind of relationship you'll have with colleagues, that is something you can't be trained. So it's a very important aspect of interview. So yeah, like I said, go through the company's website, and then there is you might go and Google later on. There is a very good way of answering any behavioral question. So it's called star methodology. It's star methodology. So let's say anybody asked you a hypothetical question. So star means, so the first one is situations. So you need to tell them, let me think of a question, and then maybe I'll be able to answer it in a better way. Okay, yeah. So let's say suppose that the interviewer asked you a question. What will you do if you have a conflict with your colleague, right? Very simple question, and I'm pretty sure everybody will have some conflicts with someone, some disagreement, no matter what organization we are working for. So that's the question. So now take a minute to think. So there is no rush, there is no hurry that, as soon as interviewer finishes his or her question, you need to just start, speaking. No, take a moment, try to build your thought, try to build your story. So it's better to take a moment and then speak, and in a better way, instead of just start speaking as soon as the interviewer finishes the question. Take a moment, and the first thing is, like in the star I said, situation. Tell him about a situation. Let's say you are freshers, so I'm pretty sure that you might not have had conflicts with your colleagues, but you might have had disagreement with your friends, with your sometimes with your teachers. Could be, I mean, I have had pretty share of my disagreement with my teachers, so sometimes it happens. So just think about that situation. Okay, so that's the thing, situation. Now so that's the situation. Now T means task. So what is our task? So the task is that we need to resolve that conflict. So now you said the situation, that what happened was that two of our friends were working on a project. We both had different approaches to work on that project, so there was a conflict. So that was your situation. The next thing was task. So what is your task? So the task is that you had to resolve that conflict, because there could be only one approach to work towards that project. So you had to resolve it. So that is your task. So S, T, A, and R. So A is analyzing. Okay, so analyze, in A is analyzing, or you can say answer. So I might have missed the acronyms, but you can go and Google star and you'll get it. So A means what did you do? What you did with your friends? So maybe what you tried. So for an example, you can say that what I did was, I created some small proof of concepts with my approach. I created some proof of concept with my friend's approach. And I tried to demo him, and I tried to convince him that, look, this would help us in a better way, in terms of cost, in terms of speed. So that's what you did. And the last one is R. Okay, I forgot the acronym, but it means Sorry, I wasn't expecting this question. So R means that what did you learn from it? So you had a situation, you had a task in your hand. What did you do to handle that situation? And the last would be that what did you learn? Or sometimes there is a follow-up questions as well. So let's say, so I'm asked, so you told that, okay, this is how I handled the situation. So the interviewer might ask, is there any possibility that you might have done things in a different way? So if there is, so just talk to him. So just kind of, whenever there is any behavioral interview going on, just think in, just don't think him as an interviewer, because they are going to help you. They know you are a fresher, that they know that you might not have faced this situation in past. So for them also, these are hypothetical questions. So try to answer it in the best way you can, and try to relate it to yourself, or the situation you have been, instead of just kind of going and giving vague answers. So there is this star methodology which you can kind of use to structure your answer. And in the similar way, if you go and Google, there are a lot of resources available which will tell you that this is how you should structure your answer when it comes to behavioral questions.
Okay, ma'am.
Just a second. As Kritika has briefed you all, so we have been since 2 sessions, we have always been talking about, communication skills and um, primarily, but after listening to Kritika, what I'm feeling is organizational behavior is actually very, very important. Because, see, the technical knowledge, as she's put up so rightly, that the company can always upgrade you to that level. But your behavior in with your colleagues in an organization, this is something like, you need to work on. And if you feel that, yeah, your behavior is such that it would not you would not be able to fit yourself in any organization or with your colleagues in future, you actually need to work on it. So this is one very important aspect, which in general course we generally miss it out. So thank you so much, that was really wonderful. And students, please take this into note, that it's very, very important for you to work on your behavioral skills as well. So that also forms a very major part of your interview. And as Kritika ma'am also told, that whenever you're going for any interview, you also need to know about that company. So like if someone is coming for a job in national, they would generally look into the college website and see, okay, what is the ethics followed in national PG. So some way or the other, what I could apprehend from what Kritika was saying is that you should try modifying or making your answer in such a way that the organizational values are, there in your answer, which would actually would be a catch for the interviewer who's going to, interview for an organization. So that's really nice. So that was just to make a things interactive. Um,
Yeah.
okay, Krishna, if there are more questions in the chat box, please put it to ma'am.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm looking into.
So yeah, let him look into the question. I just remembered something, so I think I'll better share it. So I think I was giving my first interview just in college. I was in college, I think sixth or seventh semester, and the company was based in Tamil Nadu. So they asked me, how do we make sure that, so there was questions around, flexibility, because it was again a consultancy. So what they were trying to ask me, that you will have to work with, people from across the globe. How are you going to handle it? And sometimes you will have to, work apart from your comfort zone, because what happens is we go to a comfort zone and we just don't want to come out of it. So how are you going to handle it? And while the interviewer was asking this question, so she asked me that you have lived in North all your life. How are you going to, survive South India's food? So I said, I mean, so it's a very, I didn't say that, I'm very flexible, I can do this and I can do that. I just said a simple sentence that I said, I have been living in hostel for 4 years now. I have been flexible with my roommates. I have had food from hostel and I survived. So I'm pretty sure that if I come and work for your company and I have to work with different colleagues and I have to eat South Indian food, I'm pretty sure I'll survive. So I didn't kind of, give an out of box reply. It was something I related it to myself and I answered it with my experience. So that's how you need to, whenever you are structuring your answer, you have to kind of, relate to yourself that what will you do in that situation. And believe me, there is no wrong and right answers. Every organization has different policies. So there is a possibility that if you answered in the similar way for one organization, they might reject you. But if you answered the same thing in another organization, you might get selected, because there is nothing wrong. Everybody knows that every human beings work in a different fashion.
Okay, ma'am. So the third question is from Fahad. What is the impact of organizational behavior on people and organizations' performance?
Okay, so personally, I have had, sorry. Okay, sorry, I thought someone's saying something. So yeah, so personally, I mean, first maybe I'll cover the impact on the individual growth. Then I'll go to the organizational part. So personally, throughout my career, I have had a lot of help from the organizational policy. So I remember fresh out of college, I used to be a hothead. I used to be very, very aggressive. So in meetings, let's say that, someone is saying something and I think he or she is wrong. I think he or she might not, I mean, her approach might not work. I just used to bluntly say no. I mean, just imagine, I mean, in a meeting full of 50 people, someone is trying to present something and they are approaching something, and I would go like that, you know what, I don't think this will work. So that's how I used to be. Now I mean, it's okay to be honest, and it's you should have a backbone that if you think something is wrong, you need to report it, because at the end, if end up it's better to report things sooner than later. So but that's how I used to be. And I used to get aggressive if someone is not agreeing to me. So then I got this feedback from my manager, that he was like that, I know that your heart is at the right place, but sometimes people get offended, and we all know that, right? That there are people who just think about that, that whatever I'm saying might have a bad intent, even though I was saying it from good intent. So that's how I used to be. But after that, I mean, I started working on it, that I knew that, okay, I have to give my point, I have to prove my point, but I need to be a little bit more, maybe in a more sophisticated manner. So now what I do is normally I'll just listen to the whole approach first, and then I'll go like that, you know what, this is a very good approach, but I think it might not work in certain scenarios, and then I'll provide them with the scenarios. So this way what happens is that you don't offend people, and at the same time you prove your point that, you know what, that this might not work. So this is how, the organizational values have kind of helped me grow as an individual. Now coming back to the organization, how it impacts organization. So like I was talking about, right, as of now, multinational companies, they are working across the globe. So, I mean, the same company will have colleagues in Europe, in UK, in India, in US, everywhere. So the organization needs to keep an order, right? Like I said, mentioned, if there is no order, and it's everywhere in our life also, right? If we don't follow a routine, if we don't follow an order, it would be a chaos. So the organization had to have some policies, some values which every employees can follow. So also these organizational policy, they make sure that the growth of employee and the growth of organizations are going in a right way, and everybody is moving towards, a, a common goal. So let's say I'll give you an example. Let's imagine I have got an organization and there is no value set up, no policies set up. So it would come to, like, people to people on basis. So some people, so let's say I'm very honest, I go and I do my job perfectly, and I don't disrespect anyone. So I'm like that. But then there would be some people who might kind of, start they might kind of I mean, and we all know there are people who exist that they might not do their job properly. So in order to bring an order to the chaos, we need to have that organizational policy which will enforce the employers, which will enforce the employees, to make sure that, the employees growing, the organization is growing. So it helps the organization, but at the same time, let's say an organization is doing something against its policy, so that you can also go and kind of, challenge them that this is not your value, why are you doing these things to me. So in order to have an kind of just like we have got our constitution, right? So that's how the law in India, or the law in anywhere works. So you can consider these organizational policies, this organizational value, as the constitution of an organization, which makes sure that organization and the employees are moving towards a common goal.
Okay, ma'am. The fourth question is from Akshita. Does organizational behavior change with national culture?
Not exactly, because I mean, I have worked for Indian multinationals, I have worked for US multinationals. So for example, in life or everywhere, there are few standard principles which everybody follows, right? That we know that we should respect our teachers, right? Anywhere in the world that doesn't change, is it never changes, that we should be respecting our teachers. So similar thing with organizational, the culture might change. I mean, there is a big culture gap which I noticed when I came to Glasgow. So there is a big culture gap, but at the end, these values which we are taught from the childhood, these things remain same. I mean, no, I don't think any country in the world or any organization in the world will come and say that, you should be disrespectful to your teachers. So it doesn't change. The namings change. I mean, let's say someone called it honesty. Someone calls it honesty. There might be another word in another organization, but these are the basic values which remain same across the organization.
Thank you, ma'am. We had these questions only. So
Excuse
far.
me, ma'am. I would like to ask you a question from the point of view of, being a teacher.
Yeah.
Since you talk about the behavioral interview aspects and how behavioral interviews have gained a lot of significance. So, like, mostly our students are freshers.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are the basic personality traits that, that are need to be taught to the students when they face interview as a fresher? Because they have not been into organizational culture at all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, that makes sense. So I think the first and the foremost important thing right now, organizations are looking, be it fresher or be it, people like us who are giving interviews in 8 or 9 years. So they are looking for, an ability to learn, and that kind of excitement to learn. So I mean, whenever for example, if I am giving an interview and they talk about some new technology, I really get excited, because that's what I'm going to learn. So they really want to make sure that you are excited to learn, because the way the technologies are changing, right? Today you are working on something, that technology might not be there in tomorrow. So that is the first thing, your ability to learn and your excitement to learn. So that's kind of thing. So whenever you are giving interview, you have to showcase them that you are very kind of, when it comes to, so I'm talking about technology, but there could be something else for, like, commerce, or I don't know, sorry about that. So yeah, but you are excited for your field, you are excited for your job. So that's the first thing. the second thing is problem solving skills. So it's very simple. What the organizations are currently looking for, let's say that you don't know anything about any technology, you are given a problem. So for me it would be like, can you design a database, so something like that. So how are you approaching to that problem? So that is also very important. So let's say it shouldn't be kind of very vague, that I can make this system scalable, I can make this system very robust. It shouldn't be like that. It should be that your approach towards the problem. So and the interviewer will help you, and I'm pretty sure they are going to help you if they think that they are on right track or they are missing things. So these two things, and then the third thing which I think is the most important is that whenever they're asking this behavioral question, right? So how capable you are on your own. So that's how you have to show as well. So let's say I'm asked a question that you have had some differences with your colleague. How are you going to handle that? So let's say someone answers that I'm just going to go to my manager and tell everything to my manager. That's now how it should be. It means that you are not able to handle these things on your own. For every little things you'll be running to your manager. So it's kind of they are looking for an independent person who can easily fit in their culture. So that's what most of the companies are looking for these days, so that they're not, so if you are in a technical interview, you miss something, believe me, they are not worried about that. So I hope that
Thank you
helps.
so much, ma'am, because I asked this question on purpose so that our students know that, ability to learning and being excited to learn is the most
Yeah.
important thing. And that I think
Yeah.
the students should pay a lot of heed to.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
need to. I mean, if you want to survive in this cutthroat world, you have to be ready to, start learning new things. And sometimes you learn on the job. Believe me, even today I have to spend an hour to study, because there are things are changing every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, that was a great answer. The next question is from Avnish Pratap Singh. What is the difference between organizational behavior and ethical behavior in an organization?
That's a good question. I'll have to take a moment to think. Um, So I think organizational behavior are part of ethical behavior. So let's say, let me just think of an example instead of just blabbering something. So ethics, yeah. So ethical behavior are something which we are taught from our childhood, right? From that honesty is the best policy. I'm pretty sure everybody have must have heard of this, and like the way you should talk to different people. So I'm pretty sure you won't talk to your parents or to your teacher the same way you talk to your friends, right? I mean, my mom would throw me a flying chappal at 100 miles. I'm pretty sure that if I start talking to her the same way I talk to my friends. So there are some ethics which we are taught from our childhood. Now when it comes to organizational behavior, they are not going to teach you how you should behave with your parents. They are not going to teach you how you should behave with your teachers. These are the ethics which we learn in schools, in colleges. Organizational behaviorals are more focused in the organization setting. So when I say an organization setting, that then, okay, there is a job which needs to be done, there are 50 people who needs to do the job. How to make sure that they are doing their job in a perfect manner, how to make sure that there are not many conflicts between those 50 people, and all of 50 people are going in 50 directions. So whenever organizational values or policies are designed, there is a fixed mindset that, okay, we have an organization, there would be a people manager, there would be some colleagues, there would be juniors and seniors. How to make sure that they all are working towards one goal. But ethics, that is something which comes from our upbringings, which we learn from our school. So how to talk to a stranger, or let's say let's say you are going in a Delhi metro and you are giving your seat to an elderly woman. So that is something which is your ethics. That is something the organization won't teach you. That is something which we have been taught since our childhood. So this is the main difference. Ethics is something which is for your whole life, and organizational behavior are created keeping in mind the organization setting.
Okay, ma'am. Avnish is satisfied with the answer. The next question is from Sanskriti. What all qualities should one have so that it is easier for them to adapt and blend in any new environment?
Yes, so that's a really good questions, because the environments are going to change every day. So the first thing which I think very important is communication. So when I say communications, I don't mean that you go and you just talk in fluent English. I don't really mean that. When I say communications means talking to people, right? So because there are very few countries in the world right now who have English as their first language. For us, English is second language. I work with European people. English is, their second language. So when I say communication, that doesn't mean that you need to have a fluent English, communication. Please don't take it that way. When I say communication, that means that whatever that you communicate with others. So let's say I joined, first day of my work, and I joined some new company. So there are two things I can do, right? I can be on my own. I can just go and I can, start working. I can leave, right? I can go at 9 o'clock and I can finish. So I'm not communicating with people. I'm just going and doing my job. And then there is second thing which I can do. So for example, this is my first day. I go and I introduce myself to the team. So I'll start knowing my team, how they perform, how they are, working. So in case if I need any help, they would there be to help me. So you have to communicate in order to build contacts. So communication and contacts, those two are very important thing in the corporate world. So and to one more thing. So I mean, I just I kind of remembered something. So first day in Glasgow, not first day in Glasgow, what happened was, my flight, I had to travel. So this was my first international travel, and I was traveling via Dubai. So I reached Dubai, and the way I booked my flight was that I will reach Glasgow somewhere in the afternoon. So it would be easier for me to find my hotel and all those things. I reached Dubai, I missed my flight. Okay, so I mean, I was 24 years old. I missed my first international flight, stranded in Dubai. I had no clue what to do. I mean, I had no clue what to do. So all I started was I started asking questions. I started asking questions to my fellow passengers that, you know what, this flight is getting delayed. What should I do? Some of them suggested few things. And then I went to the customer service, and kind of that lady, she wasn't agreeing with me, because she was thinking that I missed my flight because I did something, but it was the other way. There was some problem with the previous flight. So the fellow passenger, he said that, in Dubai, sometimes people can be really aggressive. So you have to keep talking to them. So if I hadn't communicated with that fellow passenger in my flight, I would not have known a single thing. And it helped me. And they booked me onto a different flight, and I came to Glasgow. I came to Glasgow and I had three big bags, and I was sitting in front of my hotel because I had three bags and two hands. I didn't really know how I'm going to go carry these three bags inside the hotel. So, and it was 10 o'clock and the night, 10 o'clock at the night. So I was just sitting. I mean, imagine me sitting with three big bags on a road just to figure out how I'm going to go inside my hotel. And then there was a bar just opposite that hotel. So I mean, a club or a bar, which is, I know it's not very common in India, but it's Western culture, so there are a lot of clubs and bars in here. So a guy came to me and he asked me that, do you need help? Now there could have been two things I could have done. So I could have just said no, because I have had that, my previous things in my mind, that if a person is going to a club or bar, he might not be the good person or something like that. So we have, I mean, the point I'm coming to is we always should keep an open mind. So I told him that yes, if you can help me. I thought I had no option. So they not only, they helped me, they took my bags inside the hotel, they helped me check in. So they did that. So if I hadn't have that open mind, I would have been sitting there. I don't know doing what, because I didn't have international number so that I can call the hotel and get help. So you have to keep an open mind. So that's very important, because what happens is that we start judging people very fast, right? So let's say you are on a road, right? You are on a road, you are driving your car, someone else is driving their car. So what will happen is, if they are speeding, right, we start kind of bad mouthing them, that why he or she is why he or she is speeding or something like that. But there is a possibility, right, that someone is in the hospital and he's speeding just to go to the hospital. So keep that open mind, keep that whatever people are doing, they are not in bad intent, they're in good intent, and believe me, it will help you, because you'll meet so many different type of people, and some people are not very good, they will try to take advantage of you. So you have to be a little bit kind of conscious around them. But it's better to keep an open mind, because that helps you to sleep better at the night. So that's the second thing. So the first thing is communication, second thing is open mind, and then the third thing is ownership. So ownership is more about, so let's say you went and you joined a new company, or let's say anything, your project change or something like that. So as soon as you start working, make sure that you are showing that you've got this ownership skills, that whatever you are doing, whatever you are building, you are owning it. Now we all do mistakes, so it shouldn't be like that. If you did a mistake, you just start blaming others. No, if you did a mistake, you own it, you fix it, but you own it, that yes, I have done some mistakes, I have done some pretty bad mistakes in my career as well. So make sure that you took the ownership starting from your career, and this will help you. Because what will happen is, people will change, your project will change, your country might change, but if you have got these capabilities, you've got this ownership capabilities built in you, you will be fine anywhere you go, because you know what you are doing, you are owning it. And then the last thing would be respectful. So I mean, yes, be respectful to anyone, like I mentioned, that treat a janitor in the same way as you are treating your CEO, because that is really really very helpful. Because people, if I mean, you will see the difference if you start respecting people, if you start talking in a better way to them. They will help you any way we can. I mean, I have had help in Glasgow, people helped me finding an apartment, people helped me moving my house, people helped me, I mean, Friday night they were spending and kind of assembling my furnitures. So that's because I have been respectful, that's because I know I respect their thoughts, I don't kind of just bluntly say no to them. So these things are really going to help in an organization, and I think it will help in your life as well.
Yes, ma'am, this was the last question. You may continue now.
Oh,
Uh,
I think I've covered everything in
yes,
the question.
yeah, yes. Thank you so much, Kritika. That was so wonderful listening to such varied aspects related to the organizational behavior. Students, there is a feedback link in the chat box, and the responses will close after 10 minutes. So make sure to fill the feedback form. Um, and anything else, any teacher or a student wants to ask Kritika? We have her with us.
Yes, ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, Sia.
Hello, ma'am. I'm a
Hello.
BCA final year student, and I have been. It's a situational question, and I had been working with an organization which was kind of a training center. So I had been working them with quite some time. So there was an intern who was new at that place, and he was he had to work under me. So there he was assigned some roles which I was told that I have to explain these things to him and get things done from him. So what happened ki the things he claimed in his resume and also in the interview that he knew and that he had done, and he knows about all those things. But it happened that when I assigned some stuff to him to do for the like as an intern, as a fresher, so he started acting like that ki nahi, this much I cannot do, and this is too much, like which I personally knew ki as when I was a fresher I got these things. It is a very small amount of work. So it was like that ki I knew that he is doing something wrong, and I was right, I knew that. But in that situation also, I was it was I think a few months back, I was very, I was new at that place, so even I didn't know how I should have behaved at that time. So accidentally, like I was I mean, a very aggressive, I got, which was very wrong, I know. So I said something like ki, if you cannot do this, just talk directly to sir that and tell him that you can't do this. So this happened, and then he said some things and I said some things. So like, basically it got a very bad argument kind of, and then I started crying. So later I was just scrolling through my LinkedIn, and I saw a post where a person had attached screenshots of the email that someone had treated her in the same way in a real organization. Like I was, though it was very small place, but in a real company she had been treated like that कि उसको बोला गया कि नहीं, if you are not able to do this, just tell and then just resign. So I realized कि what have I done the same thing, and am I that bad? So my question to you is that how should I have behaved in that situation, and even if in future this comes, so how should one tackle this situation?
Yeah, I mean, it has happened with me personally as well. And you will get difficult people, I mean, in life also we get difficult people. So what happened with me? I mean, I hired that person. So, right, like I said, right, always go with an open mind. So I hired a person, I interviewed her, and she was good. I mean, I normally don't focus on the technical part. I focused on her organizational culture, how she would fit in, and how, what is her problem solving approach. So when she started working, she wasn't performing at all. So the first thing you need to do is give them some time. That even right now, any new organization, if you will join, no matter how big, how small it is, so you will be given some time, because everybody has that imposter syndrome. It's a new place, you are still trying to find your feet. So the first thing you need to give is give them some time. So let's say that maybe you are expecting him or her to do the job in one day, but if he's taking time, let's say it's been 2 days and you don't have any update. So just go and maybe try to talk to them. So they might be I don't, I mean, we can't control how the other person is going to behave, right? But we need to make sure that we are not in the wrong. So just maybe start asking the questions that, are you facing some issues? Can I help you in any way? So something like that. I mean, you should be, the way you should be talking to him or her, it should be more like that, you want to help him, you want to help her. It shouldn't be like that, that you are trying to get to their weaknesses. So ask these questions first. So when it happened with me, when I started asking these questions, so I came to know that the girl I hired, so her father had died a couple of months ago, and she was missing home, and that was the reason she wasn't able to perform. So there was two options for me. I could have just gone to my manager and I could have told him that, what, she was very good in interview, but she's not performing. So that wouldn't have that would have caused issues for her as well. So the first thing, I mean, no, I mean, go with an open mind. Don't you can't control how other person is going to behave. So just try to understand what the problem is. So there could be some personal problems, right? We all all have personal life. We all are humans, right? Some days it feels like that this isn't my day, nothing is going in a right way. So just try to get to the bottom of it, that there could be two things to that. So the first thing is that the person doesn't know how to do things, so that can be handled very in a very efficient way. okay, you don't know how to do things, let me tell you the first time how to do things. So you tell them first one time, you tell them second time, but if you're not telling, if they're still not able to perform, then there is some problem with them. But you will have that, that okay, I tried to kind of help him or her. So that's the first thing you need to do. Try to see what the problem is. Maybe it's a personal problem, which is he or she is not able to focus. Then the second thing is he doesn't know what to do, so maybe try to explain him what needs to be done. And then there are I have also met few people, they just don't want to do work. They just, they just want someone else to handle that work. So for that, if you have tried, then you can go to your manager that, what, I tried this, try to document things, right? So you have those points. So when you are having that discussion with your manager, when you want to escalate that matter, then you'll have your point that, I tried to contact him, I tried to see what the problem is, but he's still not performing. So there are so this will, you will also be kind of content that you tried to help. Okay, you were not successful, but you tried to help. But if that person, he doesn't have that mindset, he doesn't want to work, then it's his or her problem. But you tried to give that support from your end. So that's how I approach. There could be other ways, but that's the way I approach, and it has been really helpful to me. I mean, sometimes, let's say, I've been a manager I have been a manager as well. So sometimes, if, let's say, someone was performing well, but now they are not trying to do well, so just maybe, took them for a coffee and try to discuss that what's the problem. Is it like the project? Are they under any stress? Because we all are humans, there could be situations which are hindering our performance. So try to get to bottom of that. So as a leader, as a manager, that is your responsibility. Does that answer your question?
Thank you so much, ma'am, and I will definitely try to implement that in my future life as a fresher and also in senior roles. And thank you so much.
No worries.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful session that we had today. And I think the way you have emphasized on people's skill, I think that
Yeah.
is what needs to be taught to the students, and what is that needs to be developed in the upcoming generations now, because they are going to, face more challenges because of the workforce diversity that is happening across the globe. And this will make them, better to handle the work situations as well as their personal lives also, I believe so. So thank you so much for this wonderful lecture that we had today. I'm sure students have been enlightened with the way ma'am has pointed out on the aspects of behavioral interviews, and having an ability to learn and tackle themselves, handle themselves and their colleagues in the organization. So a very big thank you to ma'am. Thank you, dear students, for being here and such a patient listener and asking some wonderful questions from ma'am. Thank you to the placement coordinator, ma'am, Dr. Shalini Lama, ma'am, for organizing this kind of session for these students. Thank you to the placement team teachers over here who have been very supportive in, conducting this session today, and to my placement team students as well. So thank you very much, all of you, and I'm sure that we all would benefit from today's lecture. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, if you have any more questions, you can connect me on LinkedIn, and I would be, it would be my pleasure to help you guys in any way I can.
Sure. Thank you so much,
Great.
ma'am. Thank you. Wonderful.
Thank you,
I'm
Kritika.
Have a
Hello,
nice
Krishna.
week,
I'm sorry.
everybody.
I think one girl has a question.
May I
No,
have one question, please?
I don't have a question. I am unable to find that link, feedback link. Can you please send it on the group?
Sure.
May I ask one question, please?
Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, but I have reshared the feedback link in the chat box. So if somebody is having trouble in finding the link, they can get it over there. And the live stream chat box also has the feedback link. So you can access it from there as well.
May I ask one question, please?
Sure.
Yes,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
Very good evening to you. And I want to know that yes, it is important to have a respective way to even our with seniors as well as with juniors. But what if our senior is in any way wrong and he's mistreating or misbehaving with us, then uh, how we can just come to it, how we can behave there, what kind of nature we need to follow there? May I know, please?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Every organization has, they have defined way on how to, do these kind of things. So the first thing you think, let's say, if someone is not talking to you very nicely, or someone keeps embarrassing or harassing you in some. So the first thing you can do is just challenge them. So there is a possibility that that person doesn't know that for him, let's say he's making fun of you. For him it could be just a joke and he doesn't know that it is offending you. So just maybe the first thing you should do is try to challenge him or her that, what, the way you are treating me, I don't think I like it, and please don't do that. So that's the first thing you can do. But if, even if he's, let's say, I mean, you told him that you don't like it, you challenged him, but even if still he or she is doing the same thing, you can go to the manager above him. So let's say you got a senior, so there would be his or her boss as well, right? So all organization has different policies and different rules, and they are very restricted rule. I mean, I have had seen people getting sacked because of they are kind of trying to treat their managers getting sacked because they were treating their employees badly. So there would be a structure through which you can report. So if, let's say, your boss's boss is also not responding, you can go to HR. So every organization, I mean, you don't have to worry about it, but the first thing you do is challenge him so that he knows that you don't like it. Because if you, let's say, you directly go to the HR and you start telling the HR that he is or she is treating me like that way, then that person might come and say that I was just joking, or I didn't have any bad intent. So but the first thing you do is challenge him or her. If even then he or she is not stopping, go to his or her boss. And if they're not, then there is HR. There is a lot of way you can report. So every organization has these policies where this kind of behavior, this kind of anybody harassing everybody, that's not that shouldn't be done. And there are very very extensive rules and policies set around that.
So I think that goes everywhere, what it be an organization or real life. We need to fight a battle by ourselves first and then involve the high authorities. So that goes unsaid. Thank you so much, Kritika, for your time. And students have surely gathered a lot. We are getting wonderful responses from the students in the feedback form. So thank you so much, Kritika ma'am. I think we can end the meeting now. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you so
Bye,
much,
have a
guys.
nice
Thank
day.
you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.